Ben Marney Books presents An August Harvest, written by Ben Marney. Music by Chuck Perry. Read by Ben Marney. For Rex, my only dog, and for my wife Dana. Definition: august, something marked by majestic dignity or grandeur, something respected or very special.
Grant, I'm not mad at you. I'm furious at myself. Furious for being so stupid. Furious for being so full of myself and my own expectations of how I thought you should be acting. I'm furious for not being a real friend. A real friend would have returned your calls.
He wiped his eyes again with his sleeve.
If you had died out there, I would have never been able to forgive myself.
I shrugged. I didn't expect you to answer.
Please, Grant, don't talk,
he said, interrupting me, holding up his hand.
Let me finish.
He slid off the stool and started pacing the kitchen.
I can't imagine living through what you have this past year. No one should ever have to live through something like that. But unfortunately, you did. And where was I? I'm supposed to be your best friend. Hell, it's a lot more than that. We grew up together. We're like brothers. But where was I when you needed me? I deserted you.
He sat back down on the bar stool, facing me.
I haven't been much of a friend, have I?
Marshall, I don't blame you for anything you've done. Because no matter what you did, it wouldn't have made any difference. It wasn't your fault. I chased you away. Hell, I chased everyone who ever cared about me away. I just couldn't face all this sober. When I was drunk, I felt numb, and it didn't seem to hurt as much. So that's what I did. I know you tried to save me, but I didn't want to be saved. Marshall reached across the island and grabbed my hand.
Do you understand what would have happened to me and everyone else that loved you if you had died tonight? Grant, you're my brother, the only brother I've ever had, and I hope you know how much I love you. Promise me you'll never do anything like this again. Promise me.
We were both crying like a couple of babies with tears dripping off our cheeks. I let go of his hand and wiped my face with a napkin. Marshall wiped his face as well and stared at me.
Grant, have you lost your faith in God?
I stood up, walked to the coffee pot, and poured another cup. Nodding my head slowly, I said, Yes, I guess I did.
What about now?
Brenda asked. I looked at her and smiled. Since the crash and my rare sober moments, I would pray for some kind of answers, but I got nothing. My life just seemed to continue on that downward spiral. As far as I knew, I had been a good man, a good husband, and a good father. But I kept asking him what I had done to receive his wrath, and why he took away everything and everyone I loved. But he never answered. After a few months, I quit praying and sort of drifted away. I was too angry and lost to believe in him anymore. I felt like he had either abandoned me for no reason, or that he really didn't exist. Either way, I didn't want any part of him.
But you feel different now?
Marshall asked. Yeah, I said, nodding.
What changed? Did he finally answer you?
Brenda asked. I shrugged my shoulders. I think so. This is gonna sound strange, but I saw Rita tonight, when I was out there in that water. Marshall raised his eyebrows and smiled.
You saw Rita? She gave you God's answer?
I shook my head. No, it wasn't like that. When I was floating there in that freezing water, her face appeared out of nowhere, but she wasn't smiling.
Was she pissed at what you were trying to do?
He said with a chuckle. Oh yeah, she was extremely pissed. She told me to swim, that it wasn't my time. She said that I had a lot more to do. I looked him in the eyes. Marshall, how would she know that? He nodded and shrugged.
Do you think he told her?
What else could it be? A few minutes later, the dolphin showed up and saved me. What do you think? He grinned.
According to the captain, it's a miracle you survived. I don't know anyone else that can do this sort of thing. You know, miracles. So yes, I think his hands are all over this.
I lifted my head and stared into his eyes. I don't know exactly what Rita meant by me having more to do, but trust me, with God's help, hopefully, I'm going to find out.